everybody, it's Lobster Shorts, and we're going to be making a dress today. I had originally wanted to make this dress, particularly in this style right here, and it said US sizes 8 to 18, but then when I was browsing the measurements, I realized a lot of parts of me would not fit in that, which is really strange because I normally take a US size 14, so you would think that that's no problem. It just goes to show you we have so many different body types out there, and I believe sewing patterns are usually for a standard person who is a lot shorter than I am, and just going by the measurements, I realized like this just wasn't gonna work. So I decided to try this one instead, and I'm gonna be making this one here. I was going to be making this one, but I want to keep it simple, and this one has a band around the bottom, so I just wanted to stick with something a little easier because, again, I'm very new to sewing. I'm also not sure if this is going to fit, but I'm going to try it, and I really love that it's supposedly only an hour to complete this, so that might be a little longer in my case, but I am, again, excited to try this dress out, and I'm going to be using this fabric, which again I did thrift, so being new and not having all my projects turn out as well as I'd hoped for, I think thrifted fabric is perfect. Now I'm not 100% sure if this is fashion fabric, but it feels nice and it's going to be perfect for like a summery dress, which I want for vacation. So I'm going to try this out. So I have my pattern pieces laid out here, and I would normally have wanted to lengthen it here because I am almost 5'10", and all my height is actually in my torso. So normally I would have lengthened it here maybe an inch or two, but I don't actually have enough fabric. There wasn't as much as I thought there was. So I'm just going to make this a pattern exactly as it's here. Since I don't want to chop my pattern pieces apart, all the different skirt lengths are on one piece. So I just chalked out the cut line. There's only 3 pattern pieces. This I only need 1 of, so I'm just going to cut it out at the end. The fabric is doubled up and pinned down, so I'm going to cut it out, and it's going to make 2 of the big pieces and 2 of these pieces, and then again, I'm just going to cut this one out when everything else is chopped off. Okay, so everywhere I see a notch on my pattern pieces, I'm going to give them a short little clip just near the ends of the fabric, and I'm just going to do that for each piece, every spot I see one of these notches. Okay, so I have the side seams done and the center back seam done. Also, shoulders are together. Now I need to put the hemline around the neck. So I've got it all pinned. I'm gonna try to iron it. I'm gonna have to be very careful. I do think this is curtain fabric, and it did say it was made with acetate on the selvage. So I'm afraid about this melting a little bit, so we'll see. I'm gonna iron it on the synthetic setting. And then I'm going to try to sew it. I am not very good at sewing hems. They're always wonky and it turns out like warped. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to put the stitch length on the longest setting, and hopefully that's enough to not let it warp. Okay, so I did get the neckline done. It is unfortunately warped, but it is a little better than my usual, so it's fine. So this part just below the neckline, there's this little thing you made like a little case to put an elastic through, and then you gather it together, and then you have to sew this part shut, holding on to the elastic. I used a safety pin to force the elastic through, and I did machine sew this on. It looks a little rough on the outside. I'll show you. Let me just get to it, but it does look way better than if I had a hand sewed it. Like, there's a lot of bunchy threads here, We'll see how it holds up, but actually now that I flip it around and it's gathered, it does look a lot better, so I am happy about that. So I'm gonna sew that elastic down, and then I think I just have to do the armholes and the hem. Okay, so I'm currently hand sewing the hem here of the dress. I think if I hand sewed it, it would just warp too much, so I'm just doing it by hand. So here's the finished dress. It is a little bit shorter than I like, and I did do a pretty terrible job with the sleeves. It does look much better with the sweater. The fabric is also just a little too stiff for this pattern, and again, that's because it is a curtain. I think I did a pretty good job with the bottom hem. This hem, not so good. And if I sew it again, I think I'll move this gathering piece down about an inch. I think it would look a lot better there. So I am gonna show you a little bit closer up. But overall, it's okay. But I would love to make it again in different material. Okay, so I'm gonna give you my final thoughts. Overall, it was okay for a beginner, which is what I am. Again, the neckline, it was pretty warped. I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm gonna have to do some videos for that. The sleeves, they were terrible. This definitely needs a sweater. Did I hand sew these? I did. Did I? Yeah, I think I did hand sew the sleeves, so they should have been better, but I just couldn't get them to go better. And I did hand sew the hem here, which I think I did a pretty good job here. It's not warping at all. But again, the sleeves, it was really wrinkly. I don't know if it was just the fabric I was working with. This part here, I would say, was probably the hardest part of the dress. This is like a little gathering spot with a stretchy part. I think it was at the wrong place for my body shape. I would move it down an inch. But I do have some other fabric. One is like a t-shirt material in a navy blue that I'm hoping I have enough fabric for, because I think that would be perfect and great for vacation. It'd be very breathable. Again, this is made from a curtain, I'm sure of it. So this fabric, it's too stiff to really flow properly, especially at that gathering there. And again, it's just not gonna breathe, but it was good practice. So I am pretty happy with it. I do like the pattern, and I am gonna make this dress again, just with a more appropriate fabric for it.